I'd like to invite our keynote address speaker to the podium because he has to come. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about a professor of international repute, global repute if you like, a fellow of the Academy of Sciences of Nigeria, among many others, commander of the Order of the Niger, several times minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm sure you already know who I'm talking about. There hasn't been anyone who has gone there as many times. Chairman, Chief Executive, Geometric Power, Nigeria, Professor Barth Nnaji. Maybe I'll give you the citation later.
Thank you so much. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by thanking African Heritage Institution and DIPRIT for inviting me. And at the same time, I apologize to everyone for skipping the queue, so to say. It's not something that we should do, but I have to. I'm going to US. I have to catch my flight in Enugu within the next 3 hours, and we thank God for that. That we now have international flights going out of our side of the world. Let me start by saying that I was listening to Prof. about talking about integration. I mean, really, that's the crux of the whole thing. What we are talking about here, what we should be thinking. And as I see those who are here, I think that's like the brain box of our region. You people are. And individually, we are quite successful. But as a group, we are not able to move ourselves. And that's what the issue is. I'm going to talk about the fact that the states can do certain things for themselves, but there are just some things they cannot do, which the region of the Southeast can do. That's what we are talking about. So let me start by reminding us a little about the travels of the people of the Southeast region. In legitimate search for livelihood, evils are spread across the nooks and crannies of our nation, and in fact, the entire world. But our people easily fall prey to unwarranted and unprovoked attacks in their various places of abode within our nation. They and their businesses are often targeted for exploitation, intimidation, and sometimes outright destruction. In spite of these unfriendly situations they face, some of them remain with the hope that their countrymen in their new homes will become more accommodating, and for others in the hope that their business climate will improve in the Southeast. Some of the challenges that frustrate livelihood and overall development in the Southeast include that of infrastructure, especially very poor conditions of federal roads and poor electricity supply. insecurity, and untapped natural and human resources. The 5 state governments in the Southeast are doing the much they can to alleviate the suffering of our people with little resources at their disposal. However, the near absence of federal government presence in industrial and infrastructural developments in the Southeast have created a huge yawning gap in the economic and security stability of the area and its people. There is an urgent need to address the overarching problems of the Southeast region, which, if not coherently dealt with, are likely to frustrate all levels of government developmental goals, objectives, and strategies. It is in the light of this that the Southeast Economic and Security Summit Group, having consulted widely and brainstormed through various sessions, have articulated how the Southeast can come out of decades of being hewers of wood and drawers of water, also known as the Digagetoria in the Igbo Palace in the Nigerian nation. The Southeast region of Nigeria enjoyed rapid industrialization in the 1960s and was acknowledged as one of the fastest growing economies in the world as a region. This growth was halted by the Civil War, and the economy and the industries of the region have not recovered. Efforts to revamp the economy and ginger growth and economic development have not met the expectations. The current Southeast region was at the heart of this rapid growth and eventual bust, along with its sister region, the South-South zone. We know the many industries created by the leaders of the Eastern region, the Calago Cement, residential hotels, golden guinea, modern ceramics, cashew, palm, and cocoa plantations. The first natural gas pipeline in Nigeria was built by the Eastern Regional Government for Aba Industries and many others. The very first gas pipeline, they thought about it at that time and built it. Interestingly, it is the only pipeline that doesn't get bust by all the problems in that region. But most of these industries are now gone. Largely, but not the only reason, because government decided to run them and ran them aground. In addition to the effects of the Civil War, is the increasing population and its dynamics on the economy and the resultant movement of skilled workforce to other parts of the country and beyond. Lack of employment opportunities in the region contributes to agitations and youth restiveness, for which addressing the underlying factors of economic development will help to stem security challenges the region faces. The Eastern region achieved the rapid economic growth that we're talking about here because of its size as an integral block and organized leadership. Two critical things: a large block, proper leadership. The whole Eastern region gave birth to 9 states of today, of which the Southeast region has 5. Unfortunately, the states of the Southeast have not found the will, unlike other regional blocks, to jointly address critical projects which a single state will not have the resources to undertake. This has severely stunted economic development of the Southeast, resulting in exodus of talented, skilled workforce out of the region in search of employment. In the light of the above, it became necessary for the establishment of a platform that forms the nexus for planning and executing major overarching initiatives that affect the entire Southeast region or will have effect in in the entire region. It is intended that the platform will be driven by private sector, but it should have a strong collaboration with the governments of the Southeast region. Such an organization will hold joint summits on a variety of topics, facilitate the development of master plans for those projects that are overarching in the region, including infrastructure, agriculture, healthcare, tourism, industrialization, security, etc. It will facilitate and support the sourcing of funds in collaboration with sister organizations for economic development and for master plans development for the region. It should facilitate and support the formation of ad hoc and standing committees or organizations that ensure the achievement of the Southeast objectives. It will not work on specific state government projects unless a state government seeks its advice. Following the above, that group registered Southeast Region Economic Development Corporation, SEREDEC, which is a company limited by guarantee, as a standing organization for the achievement of these objectives. Some members of SEREDEC trustees include Dr. Pascal Dozier, the chairman of MTN and the founder of Diamond Bank, Lieutenant General Ihe Jerika, the only chief of army staff that ever came from this region, IGP Obonna Onobo, also the only General of Police that ever came from this region, Lieutenant General Obiako, Major General Omahi, Bishop Sunday Onwaka, Dr. Alex Oti, Dr. Mrs. Regina Amadi Jock, Ambassador Mrs. Nkem Mwalibia Anyam, and so on. These are the members. The whole idea is to have a strong backbone of people that when you look at, people will feel strong about what's going on. And people from outside, it's difficult to come and make it difficult for them to move forward. Because, and also, it has to be totally private, it has to be not political. It will interact with the politicians, but not political. And most of them are not looking for anything, they're not looking for positions. So it's not a vehicle for you to suddenly mount somewhere. SEREDEC will serve as a robust platform to drive sustainable economic growth and social development, as well as enhancement of security in the Southeast region. So you noted former security people, they are there and they are working because the region must be secure. You cannot actually have real economic development without security. It will serve to support think tanks for development strategies, mobilization of resources and coordination of policies involving all the critical stakeholders, federal, state, local government, communities, and the private sector for collaboration. Additional role will include advising the South governments on strategies for creating conducive environment to attract and retain needed investment and investors. We are very much aware of the child of African heritage, which is SENEC, and SENDEF, that is the fund. Brilliant ideas. The stall of SENEC is part of the reason why we went this way. But SENDEF is already established, registered, and operational. I want you to know it's not about having separate institutions. We must all collectively work together for this one single objective. Matter of fact, the objective here is if we have a plan for a project. This organization develops a plan because Umuibo will give their time freely to and expertise, and they do have the expertise to make a plan. We now give it, if it is something that has to be funded, often the government again, fixing. I don't know how many of us here, but the government again, the government will go and do it. If it is to be totally private sector will do it. If it is PPP, then you will do it. That's where SENDEP comes in, which is one of a child of African heritage. And that organization now is private sector funding. That's a profit-making organization. This one is not a profit-making organization. SENDEP would produce generic model of regional development agenda in which the people of the region are also very active players and which is devoid of politics and ethnic coloration. Such a plan should address the infrastructural needs of the Southeast and thus facilitate and enhance the economic development of every sub-region in Nigeria. Examples of regional infrastructure projects include interstate roads, railway network, gas pipeline network, electric power, and the river and seaports. Those are examples. We take an example of the rail line in the Southeast. For example, in most developed and emerging nations of the world, most haulage and transportation of heavy goods are done, and they are not really transported by road. In Nigeria, because of lack of functional rail network, the roads are used for every mode of transportation of goods, animals, and people. We note that some parts of the country are getting standard gauge rail lines from Lagos to the north and from Lagos to the south-south. However, the southeast states were completely avoided in the standard gauge rail projects. The implication is that the southeast will continue with the colonial narrow gauge rail line, given the enormity of movements of goods within the region and from the region to other regions. We believe that a faster and more stable rail transportation system offered by the standard gauge rail line should be implemented in the southeastern part of Nigeria. This standard gauge and a predictable, more frequent rail system will even help to cure the concerns of people regarding movement of cattle, since it will be much easier, healthier, and safer to haul cattle by rail line. In addition, the huge volume of goods that will transit between the regions will tremendously increase gross domestic product to the mutual benefit of all the geopolitical regions of our nation. We then plan to work with the various governments to ensure that rail is seen as a business and establish opportunities for private sector participation as currently obtains in other parts of the world. We say that Noya Ulada do win. I mean, if they have avoided us, we must create our own. And there is nothing about it that is so difficult. So we can create the network, and the governors can give the right of way for such a network to be built by private sector or jointly. Let me talk briefly about industrialization. There is an urgent need for the establishment of an industrial park and an industrial free zone in Aba metropolis to propel manufacturing industry in the nation. This will, for example, result in high-quality manufacture of leather products. Excellency, you're welcome.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Very well, thank you. God bless you. Yeah. Yes. There's a national anthem. Play it or you sing. We all know about giving to Caesar what is Caesar's. I've never really heard this state anthem, but I would say we should have hired the person who composed it to do that of the nation. Yes. Your Excellency, you're welcome. I was talking about the industrial park as an example because when you look at, you have hubs of an industrial park. You can have the hubs of industrial parks in Onitsha, Nnewi, in Aba, but I would use the Aba one as 3 weeks ago, the governor of governor of Abia, and myself and Dr. Pascal Dozier went to Cairo, Egypt, to visit with the Afro-Expo. And the intention is they have mapped out 7,500 hectares to build an industrial park for export of leather products, the shoes, the women handbags, belts, etc. And it is known that nearly 90 to 95% of shoes worn on the west coast of Africa come from that place, but with stamp saying made in Italy, made in Spain, and so on. Hopefully soon we will begin to say made in Nigeria to those ones. And it was an excellent visit, really was. The reason why we joined is because the industrial park is totally circumscribed within the ring fence of geometric power region. And so we will be supplying electricity to the industrial park. And we believe that this is a method to quickly see industrialization happen within our region. It will be best if we think this way, that while people are busy getting oil from the ground, not giving products, that we should be manufacturing stuff and selling to them and selling all over the place. This is what the people of this region, they have the talent to be able to develop manufactured products. And if they have the tools, they have the infrastructure, this can be done. So, in terms of power, I will use the Aba Integrated Power Project to illustrate. We have built a power project which is not merely a power plant, it is an embedded power within the region. You have to understand that the reason for privatization of power in Nigeria is so that the various power distribution companies should be able to invest to improve the network, and they should have technical capacity to do it, but also improve distribution infrastructure, so that when you inject power, you have less losses. When the privatization was going on, it was not about how much a distribution company will cost. It wasn't bidding that way. The bidding was only in terms of reduction of losses. Unfortunately, throughout the entire nation, no distribution company has invested in this aspect. I give you that in Aba, when we came in, we found 3 substations, 2 by 15 MVA each. We went and built 4 brand new ones, 4 brand new substations just for Aba alone, bringing it to 7 and refurbishing the 3 existing ones. Now, think of this in perspective. In the entire nation, no distribution company has built one single substation. None. And so there's no way to talk about improvement of power unless you do that for the infrastructure, and then we have the embedded power, 188 megawatts. Also, to give you perspective in terms of size, the entire southeast region right now gets less than 300 megawatts. Less than that. Aba alone has 188 megawatts we built. We invested about $530 million in that place to build that power project. But for the region and for the nation, we also have built other power projects. We have, there's a joint venture that we have with General Electric to build 1,125 megawatts, of which we are building 500 right now. That's the first phase of it. And that's also in Abia State. We have a third project, which is with the Orascom of Egypt, for 540 megawatts. Basically, the region should never lack power by the time all these come alive. There's also one of our brothers is building a power plant in Okija, Century Power. That's also very, very important, a 500 megawatt power plant. So basically, the plan for electricity is on, and the next thing is about the infrastructure to deliver the power to the region. So, in conclusion, I am confident that economic growth in this region will engender a multiplier effect nationwide. It is critical to have a driving force for synergistic outcomes or for overarching ventures for the Southeast. It is best that such an entity be outside government for more effective coordination, agility, and respect among the states. It should not get bogged down by bureaucracy of governments. Governments can be partners and supporters, but not pure decision makers in them. This is the vision for which SEREDEC was established. I have outlined some of the critical issues which will be addressed in the organization. I'd like to say that when the summit was held in in Enugu on the 22nd of December. His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of this state, represented the governor and government of Anambra State in Enugu. So I thank you very much, Your Excellency, for it. And it was a wonderful meeting. For the first time, we saw all the governors speaking with singular voice, the same voice, same sort of agenda. And we really felt that they can work together. We have produced a report which should come out by next week, and this report will be on the website so that everybody can see. It's www.southeast.org.ng. That's the website where it can be viewed from next week. I would like to thank Afri Heritage Foundation and IFE once more for inviting me, and I apologize that I must actually run. Excellency, I have a flight. Yes, thank you very much.